Oh, yeah, there it is, man. That was Platinum Overdose with their new single, Can't Let Go, from their new album released this past January 17th of 2022, Covered in Leather. And once again, Platinum Overdose is Matt Thor of Rough Cut on rhythm guitars, Steven Dahl Records owner, album producer, and bassist Lance V, sorry about that. Steve Philbrook from Brass Kitten on vocals, and Rick Mead from SYRE on lead guitars. And with us today live via Zoom in Ontario, Canada, is lead guitarist Rick Mead. Hello, welcome to Hair Metal Mixtape, Rick.
Thanks, Gabe. It's great to be here, man.
Awesome, man. Listen, congratulations, first of all, on the new single, Can't Let Go, and this new album, Covered in Leather, man. What a great song to accompany a great album with such fun and like well-done covers and originals.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do that. Just, Lance really likes putting covers on every album, and it's a great idea. And then when he said a cover album, it was a kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, let's do it. And it was fun to make.
Yeah, man. And now knowing that you are from Canadian rock band SYRE from the 90s and still currently, and I already mentioned to the listeners the story of Lance V recruiting you and Steve for this project as a no-brainer. But tell us your version of how this all went down, man. Was he like, yo, I got an idea?
What happened was, so they released the two SYRE CDs, and through our singer, he contacted me because he didn't have my contact info. At the time, I didn't do Facebook or anything. So through Doug, our singer, he contacted me. So I gave him my info. Then they reached out to me. And I just said, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. Send me something. So he sent me a couple of tracks, just little pieces. One listen was like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm in. Great songwriting. I mean, great musicians. Steve's a great singer. So yeah, didn't say no.
Definitely feels like a super group, you know?
Oh, thanks, man. It kind of feels that way, but it also just feels very familiar too.
That's awesome, man. Now, the first album is called Murder in High Heels. Is that a Kiss Animalize reference?
It sure is, yeah. Me included, but Lance is a big Kiss fan, and that's just where he got the title from. But I mean, I grew up on Kiss. That was probably what kickstarted me into playing guitar, was listening to those guys.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you guys have a great interpretation of Kiss's Parasite albums too, man. Do you have a favorite Kiss album or song?
I guess my favorite Kiss album would be Dressed to Kill.
Ooh, yeah.
And I don't know. I like so many of their songs. Love Her All I Can, maybe. One of my favorites.
Nice. Yeah. Deep cut. I like that. That's great, dude. Oh man, that's good. So you guys have released one album per year, it seems like, for the last 4 years, which is pretty awesome, man. The first being Murder in High Heels, like I said.
Yeah.
And then Back for the Thrill, Standing on the Edge of the Night, and now the most current, Covered in Leather. So these songs and albums are like totally reminiscent of the 80s glam metal, hard rock albums with a mix of like original covers, like I mentioned. How do you guys decide which covers you want to do? And like, do you guys all contribute to the originals?
Yeah, the first little bit, I actually wasn't part of the writing, but just recently I got into some co-writing and stuff. A little bit of rhythm guitar, but that's mostly Matt. I mean, he's a great player. Yeah, and as far as the covers, it's pretty much Lance, I think, that suggests them, and every cover he suggests, they're great. Some of them a little obscure, but really fun to play. So it's just all about having fun and creating the originals, creating something new that feels old, like the 80s stuff. I mean, that's what we were. I mean, SYRE was a 80s 90s band, and same with all those guys. So
yeah, man, speaking of which, I was going to mention that now it seems like all you guys are still full-time in what I would call your day jobs, yours being the guitarist in Canadian rock band SYRE. And for those who don't know, listeners of SYRE, formed in '86, besides Rick on lead guitar and vocals, it's also Doug Weir on vocals, Chip Gall on guitar, keyboards, and vocals, Chris Karen on bass and vocals, and Jamie Constant on drums. The band released the songs Never Say Goodbye and Say Hi to My Girlfriend as singles with videos, and the band released 2 albums in the 90s, toured in Canada and US, and as of 2017, correct me if I'm wrong, is continuing to perform locally, man. First of all, that's freaking awesome. And secondly, how's that going with those guys?
Yeah, we definitely don't play as much as we used to. Just everybody's lives are getting in the way. So everybody's kind of doing their own thing. We all kind of play in some cover bands just for fun. But I'm also in a band with Jamie. We released an album several years ago, kind of had a bit of a change in direction. Just recently got back together. So actually that's, I'm kind of doing a bit of that right now. So, you know, I'm taking advantage because we're on a bit of a hiatus right now. So taking advantage, doing some writing with that band. So I see and talk to Jamie all the time. And the other guys I talk to quite a bit. Chris is actually my brother-in-law.
Oh, wow.
And then, yeah, I talked to all the guys quite a bit, but we haven't played much, probably 2 years since we played.
Okay. And I know that the album, It Ain't Pretty Being Easy was reissued by Demon Doll Records and Metal Legacy in 2016. And Pissed to the Gills was reissued in 2017. Yeah. And since you guys haven't seen it, like, you know, done anything in 2 years, are you thinking about maybe getting back together and doing some stuff, or that's kind of like water under the bridge?
No, we definitely have talked about it. And Doug's actually sent me some tracks and worked on it, and, you know, emailing stuff back and forth. And then, like I said, everybody just has so much on their plates right now. But yeah, we definitely like to and have talked about it. So I'm not going to say no, but hopefully, yes.
That's awesome. And going back to Platinum Overdose, I love all the album and singles artwork. Are they all done by the same artist?
I think so. I think there's some different people in there, but I don't really pay too much attention to that side of it. And that's even with SYRE, I didn't get involved in a lot of the business side of it. It's just, you know, I just like to play and perform and write and create. So yeah, I leave that up to Lance and the powers that be. I mean, why mess with it?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, chewing bubblegum and walking at the same time to somebody else, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So how about live shows for Platinum Overdose? You guys ever think about sticking your toes in that pool?
There's been mention of it, but there's nothing in the works yet. We'll see what comes of that. It's just logistics, right? Especially right now. You know, things are starting to lift a bit, so traveling might be a lot easier. But for the longest time, you know, couldn't go anywhere, and everything was done remotely. That I'm emailing my guitar tracks into those guys, so it's definitely a different way of doing it, and it takes getting used to, because, you know, I'm used to being in the studio and feeding off the guys and that whole vibe, and then, you know, I'm playing and, you know, my cat's there or my wife's there. So, okay. So it's definitely, you know, you got to find that incentive somewhere. So definitely different vibe, but yeah, I'd like to do some live shows, but nothing in the works yet.
Right. Maybe a festival or something comes along.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Now going back to some of those covers, man, Kiss's Parasite, Scorpions Blackout, Sammy Hagar's Heavy Metal. Those definitely seem like no-brainers, man. You guys did them so well. Was he the guy that picked this Bon Jovi demo song, We Rule the Night?
I think so, and I'd never heard that song before.
Yeah.
So he sent it to me and said, this is the next song. Okay, so I worked on it, then had me add some solo work into it, because there was really no solo in the song. So pretty cool song, though, fun to play.
Yeah, it's definitely like a deep cut on that one, man.
Yeah.
Woo. You know what I was going to ask too is, like, when you're doing these covers, because I mean, whatever, a long time ago when I was trying to be in bands, you'd learn the cover and then you'd be like, oh crap, I didn't realize that's how the part was played. I was always playing it differently or hearing it differently. Did you guys discover that too?
That happens all the time. I mean, as I said, you play a bit in cover bands, so, you know, you'll learn a song and sometimes you just go, oh yeah, I know this, and you play it, and then, like you said, you actually sit down and listen and go, oh, okay, that's what they're doing, you know. So it's kind of interesting diving in and learning it, you know, maybe not note for note, because you put your own kind of feel and everything into it. Right. But yeah, it's interesting when you dissect it and realize, oh, okay, I've been playing it wrong, or I've been hearing it wrong, as you said. So
that's hilarious. So apparently you guys are working already on the 5th album, man. Can you say anything about that?
No title in the works yet, but we've got several songs. I know a few that are pretty much ready, some that are still in demo stages. So just, you know, we'll email stuff back and forth. As I said, just on a bit of a hiatus now, so nothing really happening, but it's always in the back of my mind. And, you know, I'll revisit some of the stuff from time to time and just, you know, refresh my memory and, you know, maybe try to work on a few things. But yeah, I'm excited. Because I think the writing's really evolved. You know, as I said, I'm contributing a bit, so that feels really good. Just it's exciting, very exciting.
That's great. Has Lance mentioned any possible covers for this new one too?
He has not. He has not yet. Not yet.
I'm sure he'll be dropping that soon.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing what we're doing. Because like I said, some of the stuff that I had never heard before, it's fun to play because, you're really learning something from scratch. And it's just some really cool songs from some cool bands that I, never really listened to much of.
That's great, man. So I feel like we've covered a bunch. Is there anything I might have missed that you want the listeners to know?
I don't think so. I just, it's just looking forward to the new album. It's great to have the number of fans that we have, and appreciate all the support that we're getting from them and stations like yourself. And it's just, looking forward to creating some more. And as you said, I'd really like to get out and play live and do some festivals if that's in the works. So hopefully, maybe after this next album, we can discuss that a little more seriously.
Awesome, man. Well, Rick, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and getting to know you and Platinum Overdose over these last 15 minutes. Thanks again for doing this, man. Hopefully we can do this again on the next one.
That sounds great. Pleasure was all mine, Gabe. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, Rick. And have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon, man.
All right, man. You too. All right. Thanks. Cheers.
Take care.